Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. Now, my neighbor is like having a big shit in his toilet right now. So I apologize for all the sounds that you're about to hear within this video as well. But I want to take this moment to cover a little bit more about Mateo and my thoughts and my opinions about him. Now, Kovian recently did a video about how Mateo is indeed like the biggest cash grab in maybe a big part of Dislyte's history. I would think that for the most part for Celestial Anomaly, yes, he is actually a really big cash grab for Celestial Anomaly, because the thing is, if you want to compete in that content, you will need to have him because there are no other speed leads who do the same things, and in fact there is no one else who comes close at all in terms of Celestial Anomaly. But with that said, I'm gonna play a little bit of the devil's advocate in this video just to give you guys more information about Mateo as in general, not just for Celestial Anomaly, but in terms of like every single content in this game and where he has performed really well for me thus far. So Mateo is one of those Espers that I lauded quite well. Maybe in like the past week or so, I've talked about how he's going to be good in many different content, including the Celestial Anomaly. And I do feel like he is still, till this date, I do feel like he is actually a pool that I would highly recommend to most players. Like R0, just get a Mateo, you're not going to regret it. He's going to do a lot for you aside from just the Celestial Anomaly. Okay, so in terms of Celestial Anomaly, yes, he is very good because he has a really excellent speed lead, which is 35% in Ritual Miracles, Sonic Miracles, Desolate Lens, and Sentinel Hunt by 35%. He is perfect in each of these areas as well. But because this also includes the Celestial Anomaly in terms of the Chimera and not the Withering Messenger or not any of the Miracle Messengers. Now, one thing to take note of is he does have a speed lead, which means he's automatically going to be important in the future. And it's not quite the same as the Phantom Sisters, even though they are also pretty good. But I do feel like Mateo's kit is a lot easier to build around and it's a lot easier to abuse. And I'm going to show you a lot of things in this video, especially his damage output. And I am going to compare his damage output to that of Embla, and you will realize that his damage output is actually pretty damn freaking insane. Now, before we get on with the rest of today's video, I want to show you in the VR Battlegrounds and just how he works, just so that we have a better idea of his kit and why I say that he's good in, like, you know, many of these areas. So test number one, I want to show you, okay, actually it's like test, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 or something like that. A lot of tests going to happen over here. I have him fully skilled up, by the way, except for his first skill. I have it at like level 2. Okay, I'm going to show you how his kit actually works before we move on with the rest of today's video. So we're going to push our APs all the way up to 100% first. So point number one, Mateo gains AP from every single crit. So not just your allies crits on your Spark debuffed enemies, but also himself, right? So if we use our first skill here, we're going to gain AP, we're going to land some extra Spark DPS as well. The Spark DPS is 30% of his attack, cannot crit, cannot miss, and something like that. some of the stuff is basically just raw DPS that can be checked for defense. Now let's take a look at Yunchuan here, right? So when I attack with Yunchuan, what happens is I gain 3 AP stacks at the start, and when the dog assists, I also gain AP. So one of you guys also brought up this question, like, and I actually said that the dog does not push his AP. That is actually not completely true. Let me show you what I mean. So the thing is, if we kill this guy with the dog, Mateo will not gain AP, and we will not do the AP, we will not do the spark damage as well. So the thing is, your final hit on the enemy will never push Mateo's AP, and that's not just for assist, that's for all kinds of damage whatsoever. So like for example, okay, in this case, let's just do more DPS to this guy here. Okay, and hopefully we can take him out right now. See, we gain 3 stacks of AP, and we didn't gain AP on the 4th hit because the 4th hit, which is the dog's attack, actually killed the enemy. But like I said, the same is true for all attacks, not just assist attacks, not just allies attacks or anything like that. All attacks, even himself. Now the next thing that I need to show you guys is how it scales according to attack buff, defense break, sears, and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so we're going to test out his spark damage. So this is just primarily his spark damage without any attack buff and without any defense break, just to see his actual DPS output first. So his spark damage will be 495, okay. I mean, it's a little bit low because these enemies are very high level, by the way. And now we hopefully defense break this guy. Yes, we did land a defense break. Take a look at the spark damage now, is 1036. So our damage is definitely increasing onto enemies with lower defense. And now for the second test, we're gonna do a defense break and an attack up buff. And you realize that our spark damage is increased to 1463. So it does scale according to attack buff. It also does scale according to defense breaks. And now for our final test, we have an attack up buff, we have a defense break, we also have a seer debuff. We should do more than 1400. Yeah, we did 1829. So your Seer, your Spark debuff damage will increase according to your defense break, attack up buff, Seer debuff, anything that boosts your damage output, including his own Eternal Flame stacks and Ahmed's supporting song stacks as well. Now, he is clearly broken in the Chimera. I don't really think he's that useful in the Wither Messenger up to floor 60 at least. So the thing is, in the Wither Messenger, I have not used him in this content at all, so I'm not sure why everyone is saying that he's a must-have for the Wither Messenger, but I do believe that he will be very important when we are approaching like floor 120 or like floor 90 onwards, I think. Because at that point, we might actually need to lock on the boss. But in terms of the Chimera, he is obviously busted for this content. So right now I'm at like 33 million, which is a big change from the previous round. And as you can see, all of these players up above me, they all use 100%. They 100% use Mateo. If you do not have Mateo, you're not even going to be on the leaderboards at all. But is that necessarily going to be a bad thing? Well, then this question goes to the XP issue at time. I mean the Shenpin issue as well. Because Shenpin is decimating content that comprises of leaderboards. So the thing is, most free-to-play players will not be able to participate in the leaderboards anymore because of the addition of these Esper. So the question is still out there. I do believe that it's a little bit scummy that he is so good for this content. Okay, but the second place, I mean the first being the Celestial Anomaly, the second place that he is very good in is the Sentinel Hunt. And he is amazing in the Sentinel Hunt. He is right now a direct replacement to Falcon. So if you used to use Falcon in this slot, now he is the perfect replacement over here, because in this team, I have Elaine for the attack debuff, I have Elaine for the buff block and the buff strips, I have the twins for the slow debuff, for the speed up buff, for debuff extensions, I have Mateo for an incredible amount of damage. So I'm going to show you on the screen right now one of my pre-recordings of just a random Dark Starlord run that I decided to record. And the damage that he did is insane. I'll show you in just a bit. So the reason why he's so good and the reason why he is one step above a Falcon is because you do not really need the attack out debuff from Falcon anymore, because you have it from Elaine. And I think his speed lead is insane, 35% as opposed to Falcon's 20%. But of course, on top of everything else, he has like a defense break, which I guess is nice to have. He has disease, which is not important. But he also has a spark debuff, and the disease, the spark debuff, these are really good debuffs for the Dark Starlord's followers to cleanse. So it's kind of like a bait debuff, so to speak. And as you can see, he even out DPS Embla. That is unthinkable, dude. Unthinkable. But of course, if you guys are already doing EX++ on Dark Starlord, then this might not even concern you at all. But for a lot of players out there who are struggling to even get EX at all in this particular content, this could be your gateway to getting an EX++ for your club, so that you guys can be a little bit more competitive and get better rewards every single week. So it is still highly recommended that you use him in the Dark Starlord. But the thing is, it's not just in the Dark Starlord that he is good. He is amazing in Sonica as well. He's very, very strong. Now, even though he's not able to add extra attacks to your allies with his Spunk debuff, that's unfortunately not going to happen. But his damage output is so freaking high. I did not even realize how powerful he potentially can be until I saw my DSL runs and I saw my Sonica runs as well. And of course, on top of that, he is excellent in Phobetor, needless to say, because he has a disease debuff, he has a defense break, he has a lot of extra DPS. And the thing is, whenever any of your allies lands crits, his AP is going to go up, so he's going to take many, many turns. The boss is perpetually on a spark debuff at all times. It doesn't even matter that he has cooldowns or anything like that, because his third skill and his first skill both have spark debuff. So he is perfect in the Sentinel Hunt, an excellent addition. Like really one of the best additions right now. Like if I were to list out all the best Espers for Sentinel Hunt, first we have Embla, amazing. We have Yuntron R2, amazing. We have Gaius as well. We have Elaine. Now we have Mateo. I mean, of course, we have some of the Espers that are really well worth mentioning, like Abigail, for example. But he is no slouch in this content. He is very good. Now, the next place that he is perfect in is going to be Fafnir. And now, I know I do not have like the fastest setup here. This is more of like a free-to-play-ish kind of setup, as opposed to some of the top scorers right now who are also using Mateo in their lineups with average turns of 23, which is insane. 24, he is definitely very good in speed running Fafnir for various reasons. So we're just going to do this run and let's just see how it goes. So the reason why he is so good for Fafnir is because, number one, he multi-hits, right? Very clear as day. Secondly, his spark debuff. So whenever you have the spark okay, wait, hold on, run this on auto. Whenever you have the spark debuff on the boss, and when one of your allies take the last hit on the boss, he is actually going to be the Esper that's going to get frozen. So he's kind of like Pata, but on steroids, because he has a lot of damage output at the same time. So the thing is, even though he is frozen in place, when your allies are attacking the boss, dealing spark damage, you're actually still dealing more damage from Mateo's kit itself. So it's not as if he's frozen and he's not doing anything. He's still doing something. It's still his passive spark DPS taking place. And also, I would think that it is quite easy to build Mateo. You just need to give him like crit, like a lot of crit rate. That's it. You don't even need to give him crit damage. That's not important at all. So let's see. Elaine will not take a last hit. Okay, now take a look at this, right? Li Guang will not get frozen. Instead, Mateo gets frozen because the spark damage was the last hit. So that is broken, dude. That is so good for Fafnir. Okay, whoopsie. I am not sure how we how we didn't break the shield, I guess. But you know, Mateo, good typing as well for Fafnir, yeah? So we landed a miss. Okay, but there you go, see? Mateo gets frozen again. By right, this team should not have any issues with breaking a shield. I suspect it's because we didn't steal any of the buffs that the boss has. Which is why the boss had like 21 stacks maybe. Not sure, I wasn't paying attention, but he's good. He's good, so if you have issues with Fafnir, he's very good. There you go, he's frozen again. He's frozen again with the spark debuff, so whenever we attack, we are still going to land more of the spark debuff damage. But it's not going to reduce the shield count, unfortunately. So it's not going to like double your shield destruction rate. If it did happen, then wow, that would be really nice. So this is another place that he's very good in because of his speed lead, right? Number one, the speed lead. Okay, unfortunately, in this case, we didn't have the spark debuff, so Elaine got frozen. But it's like whatever, right? Right now, we can then use Mateo to do good DPS. Something like that. So addressing the thing about how he is a pay-to-win cash grab in the Celestial Anomaly, I will agree. I will wholeheartedly agree that he is indeed a cash grab in the Celestial Anomaly, but because I need to play a devil's advocate, I also need to mention that they could have done something else apart from giving him a speed lead. They could have given him an attack lead, they could have given him a crit rate lead or something else, but they decided to give him a speed lead, and speed leads are eternal. They will always be useful. So it's not the same as like a defense or HP lead or maybe even some attack leads, where sometimes you may not even need it because it's just extra stats. Speed, on the other hand, is a little bit different. It gives you a lot of turn advantage, it gives you a lot of like this and that. So unfortunately, this took us like 69 turns, which is kind of slow. But then again, like I said, this team is not perfected. I just want to show that he's at least useful in Fafnir. Now let's actually test him out in the Desolate lands for a second. And the reason why I say that he might have some use over here is because it's not just his typing, but also for the fact that he has a lot of speed on his kit, and he has potentially a lot of single target damage aside from the spark itself, So I'm not going to waste too much time here. I'm just going to switch captain to him, and I'm just going to blitz this and just see how this works. This is not like correct tuning at all because we need a Li Guang here for various reasons. We get EX++ with 16 million score. I think that's a massive win in my opinion. 35% speed lead, dude. Let's just blitz this 10 times. Fingers crossed. Not sure whether we can beat our high score of 21 million. I don't think so. Yeah, okay, EX, rip. Okay, so maybe in terms of Desolate lands, he may not be that good because you have other Espers like Ophelia, for example. She's much better, I think. Because her cooldown is also 3 turns on her third skill, which is amazing. And oh, we did manage to get 19 million though. Okay, so generally the scores are still okay. The scores are decent, but there are just other Espers that will carry this comp a lot more. Yeah, so it's okay. He's okay over here. The 35% speed lead is actually quite helpful. And of course, the last content where he is really good at is the Sonic Miracles, but that's like needless to say. I don't think he's going to be really good in the Temporal Tower or like any of the tower content because he single hits a lot. In terms of those content, you kind of need to have like a lot of controls or maybe Embla for nuking shit up. So the thing is, even if you don't have an R2 Embla, R0 Embla is still okay because she can explode stuff very, very effectively. She is very strong. So that's it for this video. I apologize that this video took so long to be released. I wanted to test him out a little bit more, and I didn't really get a lot of chance to test him out, especially in Fafnir as well. So I just like threw in a random bunch of Espers together, and it still works. But for the most part, I have been enjoying using him in whatever areas that he is good for. So in the Sentinel hunt, amazing. In the Celestial Anomaly, amazing. And the thing is, moving forward into the future as well, I do believe that his kit will always have its own niche use. Because as you can see, he has multi-hits, he's a wind type, he has speed lead. Very, very good for future content. I think it's quite future-proof in my opinion. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'd like to know more about what you guys think about his kit right now. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, don't leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.